One moment. Hello everyone, I'm Reverend Glenn with the Southern Delta Church of Wicca ATC here in Lake City, Arkansas. Beautiful day, sun's been shining for a couple of days, been getting a lot of work done around the church property, but today what I want to do is try to show you some of the things that I have to do as the community outreach director. So starting off, I got a little bit of a project I got to get done today, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to talk about it as we go. So right now I have got 4 different community outreach programs that I operate. We're doing the highway cleanup, which we've been doing for well over a decade now. We have the community garden, and we just built this greenhouse, which is fantastic. This is really going to help us out. We have the YouTube channel, which you're watching this on right now. And we also have our food pantry for Lake City. Now, my lovely wife Sarah, she's the one who is the coordinator. It just falls under me as the director because I sit on the board of directors for Southern Delta Church Wicca. And essentially what I have to do every month and then once a year is a report. I have to report everything we're doing to our board of directors. We completely run on volunteer effort and donations. Now, it can be very difficult to operate all of these things knowing just those 2 variables. And it's often nice to have some type of influx of money to come in that helps us out. Sometimes we get people donate to us, people from all over the country, real nice. Sometimes people want everybody to know who it was that donated. Sometimes they want to be completely anonymous. I can understand both perspectives. All right, that looks nice. I can understand both perspectives because some might find our particular type of faith out of social norm. We are a church of Wicca. We do practice witchcraft here. We are nature worshipers. But at the end of the day, we're still people. Just like you, we're still people. We're doing everything we can to try to help our community. There's lots of folks in our community that need the help, that are struggling to eat, struggling to feed their kids. And we just do what we can. And having a community outreach program, I got to tell you, it's one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do in your whole life if you ever get going with one. But it can be a daunting task. It's like Atlas holding up the world. And what I want to try to do in this video is create some type of contingency for not just for our church, but for any church, any outreach program that wants to try to perpetuate itself and keep itself going as time goes by. So I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I have to do and have been doing for years now, as far as video editing and garden work, pantry work, highway cleanup. I'm not going to worry about the highway cleanup today. Today's Valentine's Day, 2024. We have a highway cleanup coming up next month in March. And so this ain't just going to go out tomorrow. This is going to be a compilation video I'm going to be putting together. I'm doing this for you, so you know. So all of our future ATC priests and priestesses out there, or anyone from any other faith, or even if you're not trying to do this with a church, even if you just want to have a program in your community, you know, that's great. That's great. I'm encouraging you to do so. I really am. But it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of stress. And I'm going to tell you a couple of the criteria that are really useful in the beginning, because you're not going to know this until you go through this. So I'm going to tell you a couple of the criteria that make all of this a lot easier. Number one, probably the most important thing, you got to have the willpower, the drive to do the work. You do. You got to have it, not somebody else in your organization, not your buddies. It's not to say you can't rely on them, but you're the one agreeing to do this. This was your brilliant idea, and you got to come up with all the work. You got to come up with the know-how, the skill, or the money to pay somebody to do it for you. Either way it goes, the work's got to get done. Because if you're not the one doing it, somebody else is going to have to do it. Well, that's going to fall under the second most important factor in all of this: convenience. Now, don't forget that word, convenience. Why? Because it can be very demotivating to wake up in the morning and you had this plan all put together and you was going to get up, things were going to happen. Oh man, I got all these ideas that I just want to conjure and get out and make all this happen. And that's fantastic. But then the moment you go to do it, the things that you had set up that were convenient for you break. Something goes wrong. Technical difficulties. Problems arise. We're going to go over some of the problems that I've encountered in the past, 5 years now of doing community outreach. I'm going to go over some of the problems that I've occurred. And hopefully all of this is going to help you. I'll come up with more variables as we go along. But we're going to start off with camera work. Okay? We're going to start off with YouTube. Being a YouTuber, it ain't easy. It looks easy when you're looking at some of these folks on YouTube that have those silver and gold play buttons, and they've been doing it for a long time. Man, you got to understand one thing. There was a point in time where they didn't have nobody doing this for them. Okay? And when you're videoing yourself, and you're the host of the show, and you're the one narrating, and you're the one directing, if you got to do anything, if you got to cut this board, It's going to take you 2/3 longer to cut this board because you got that camera pointing at you. What do I mean by that? When I opened up this entire video, I hit record and I looked at you and I said, 1 moment. And then I walked out that door, gave it a minute, I gave it a little pause, and I came back in. Usually, everything you had just seen from the time I hit record and said 1 moment, walked out, closed the door, you wouldn't see on any of the videos I do, because that's all dead air. Simply put, I don't have somebody standing behind that camera hitting record. I have to be the one to do it. So I hit record, I walk out the door. I usually wouldn't say 1 moment. I would just walk out the door, I'll come back in, all ready and eager and motivated to do what I got to do. So that gets cut out in the post-recording, in the editing process. Now, I use a program called Animatica. I think it's by MixieLab. That's another thing you're going to have to deal with doing this. This is a small community. Okay? People like to squall tires right in front of our church, right around the property. Dogs barking. You name it, it's going to happen. You just have to roll with it. You have to deal with that. All right. Don't let that stress you out. Don't do it. Don't let it stress you out. You got to stay positive. Know that you're doing this for the cause you're doing this for. That's that first factor. Remember, you got to have the willpower, the drive. Don't let nothing stop you. But anyway, we're going to go over some of the things that I have over here and show you exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing to show you this. So I'm going to take my camera, my little phone, and this is just a phone, okay? This is just a phone. I just got a phone. It's a smartphone. You don't have to have no high-end, latest Apple. If you got that, that's great. That's great. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. This thing right here, they come in all kinds of brands, and they come in all shapes and sizes, but let me tell you, a good tripod, and this one's a good one, is worth its weight in gold to me. I got oil-based paint all over this thing. All right, my son bought this for me as a present. I'd wore out my old one. What brand is this thing? It's B-size, I guess that's how you say that. But and I'm not trying to make a plug for Ruby size or whatever. It's just this happens to be the one I'm using. I've been using this one for a good 3 years now. It has been a champ. It's been out in the garden with me. It's been in the muck. And I got to tell you, I love it. Is it the best one ever in the world? Probably not. They probably make more, but I'll be willing to bet this thing probably costs about 20 to 30 bucks. And remember, when you're doing community outreach, money is a factor. Remember, donations, volunteer effort. All right, so you got to pinch every penny when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, tripod. I can't stress enough how important a tripod is. So now, when I came through the door and I started doing all of the drilling into the post, let's talk about that. I already had some type of plan before I ever brought any of my equipment out here. Before I brought the drill out here, before I brought the actual thermometers and the screws out here, I had a plan of what I was going to do. I said, you know, I want to be able to show people who are enthusiastic about doing community outreach some of these issues that we run into, and how can I help you streamline what you're doing. I'm trying to make this easier on you. I'm hoping you excel. This ain't competition. I want you to do great. So essentially, I have things set up, and I got a lot more to do. I got a lot more planting I got to get done. All right, it's like I said, it's Valentine's Day, so right now I got Better Boy hybrids started. I got to come out here and wet them down again today when it starts getting a little cooler. I got a whole bunch of other varieties that I'm going to have to plant. There are YouTube videos all over the internet about how to do all kinds of planting, and I'm going to be doing a few different kinds. But here's the thing. You got to figure out time management when it comes to doing any kind of project. I don't care if you're working on a vehicle. Mechanics get paid by the hour. You know why? Because somewhere somebody decided they knew exactly how long it was going to take to do a specific job on a vehicle. Change a water pump out, man, they know exactly how long it takes. So mechanics get paid by the hour. If they do it ahead of schedule, they're still going to get paid for the whole amount of time it actually takes, or supposed to take, I guess you would say, a average mechanic to be able to do the job. Well, it's no different in anything. Time management is important. This greenhouse got put together with a plan. We had a plan. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew why we wanted to do it. But here's a little secret. Reverend Glenn is not a carpenter. I try sometimes. I do my best. I know how to drill a screw into a 2x4. But it took wiser, more experienced minds than myself to come up and construct all of this. So as a community outreach leader, you may be reliant on other folks to be able to do the work. And if that is the case, look, help them out. Give them whatever you can do. Like, even if all you can do is go get ice water and bring them ice water while they're helping out, your volunteers, you can't say enough good about your volunteers, okay? If they're out there trading their time to help do something for your project, look, you're a servant to your community. By starting your community outreach, you're a servant already. So serve them, help them. I just do whatever they say. They say, hey, go get that 2x4 over there. I'm going to go get that 2x4. You got to do that. So now that it's all pretty much done, it's not completely done. I still got a few other things. Yes, I'm going to have to step up and do some carpentry work myself. I got some boards I got to get cut and everything. But now that that general part is done, well, now I get to do stuff like planning and actual garden work, you know. So another thing that you can do, it's very important, is try to get a little bit smarter when it comes to filling out grants and looking online, trying to find out where you can get some type of funding for some of your projects. Our church, which we've said, I think at this point about 1,000,000 times, has an approval of a $300,000 grant from the USDA. This allowed us to buy this lot and that lot, making it one big lot together. It also helped us to buy a tractor. And I can't tell you enough how important something like this is, because after 5 years of being out here in the garden, our other gardens down the road, after 5 years of doing this, I can tell you that you're going to get sore and tired. Your back's going to hurt, your legs going to hurt, your knees going to hurt. You're going to get dirty. If you ain't getting dirty, you know, something's wrong. Gardening is very difficult. But YouTuber, one of the things you have to know about being a YouTuber is content. Now, I don't got all this figured out. I don't. But content is definitely one of the most important things out there. People want to see something interesting. They don't just want to see that lump of cotton holes. I mean, yeah, it's a really pretty lump of cotton holes, ain't it? But could you imagine just sitting there and scanning over this for 10 minutes? I mean, frankly, I wouldn't want to see that. I want to see something that interests me, you know? I mean, that's more interesting, you know? And let's talk about framing the shot, okay? I'm going to flip this like this, okay? You're probably looking at everything from the side right now, so I'm going to flip it back. All right, so what I did was, as I showed you the difference between what's called landscape mode, which you're looking at right now. I have my phone camera in landscape mode. YouTube is designed for this. It has a rectangular screen, so the human eyes see things more like this than they do like this. All right, that building is like a big rectangle. That tractor is like a big rectangle. Okay, so when you are shooting a YouTube video, you got to be mindful that if you want it to look, you know, nice and constructive, think about how you're going to frame the shot. Now, let's talk about some graphic math. Okay, I'm going to make this right here a good example of graphic mass. What do I mean by that? So right here, where my finger is, you can see the bottom tip of the tiller on the back of the tractor. And right here is the closest part of the peak of the greenhouse. The space from the edge of the frame of the shot to those 2 points is about the same. And then the space on both sides, over here and over here, is about the same. This is called graphic mass. All right. You also have the rule of thirds, which is basically a grid, a tic-tac-toe grid that goes over. You just kind of have to imagine it. A lot of phones do actually have it where you can have the tic-tac-toe grid put up so you can use the rule of thirds in real time. I've been doing it so long I don't actually need it because I can just see the lines in my head, how they look. But it essentially, it just makes it to where the human mind sees something in the rule of thirds. And about right there is a good example. Why? Because where the back rack on the tractor is one of the vertical lines. That's where one of the vertical tic-tac-toe lines would be in this shot, okay? And the other one would be about right here, another one about right here. So the floorboard of the tractor would be on a horizontal, the bottom horizontal line of a tic-tac-toe grid. Now, you don't got to do it this way. This is just what they teach you in college and in media class. But they also teach you to break the rules. Do something different. Do something crazy sometimes. And, you know, try to stand out. Because you don't always have to be plain like everyone. But a lot of times it does help. It does help to frame a shot like that because it makes your shot look good. It makes your shot look even and lined out good. So that's one of the tips I have for YouTube. Another one, definitely, like I was talking about content, you need to think about what it is that you want to show people. You know, you can doom scroll on Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts and you can see stuff like car wrecks all the time. You can see all kinds of wild, just crazy things, and they make you want to look at them. There's all kinds of things that make you want to see it. They just hook you in immediately. Well, it's not always easy to just find something so simple, because essentially, if you can capture your entire video in one continuous shot, you know, kind of like Quentin Tarantino does, and in a lot of his movies, he'll do one continuous shot. It'll be a beautiful shot. That's a lot less editing you got to do. Think, like I said, these YouTubers who have millions and millions of subscribers and views and all that, look, they can hire somebody if they want to go behind them and chop up their videos and put them all together and add music and take sound out and so on and so forth. The possibilities are endless. Add words, whatever you want to do. But if you're just you, the camera and yourself, and you're trying to figure all this out, well, you got to go in when it's all said and done, and you got to edit everything together. So like I say, if you just want to cut a 2x4, you're looking at 2/3 the amount of time that it would normally take just to cut that 2x4. And then when it's all over, you got to go back and chop it all up in your program. Like I said, I use Animatica. There's a lot of other ones out there. That one just, it works for me because it's simple. I'm not trying to do some crazy, you know, videos, off the wall videos. I don't need to. I'm trying to show people what the Southern Delta Church of Wicca, ATC, is doing for its community. What the good folks that worship here are doing for the community. I don't need to travel to New York City to go to the top of the Empire State Building and throw a penny off to get views. I just need to show everybody, hey, we're giving out free food at our pantry, you know, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. we take an intermission, and from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. we come back and do an afternoon if we got the food. So that's my reasoning for doing this. And that's another very important thing. As someone doing community outreach, you got to really consider, why are you doing this? You know, are you doing this for the views? Or are you doing this because there's a divine cause behind it? Is there a good reason for this? Because frankly, the world is full of clickbait. Doing it for the views, you know. Some folks can make videos, little quick videos, and rack up the views and rack up the money. We have yet to reach 1,000 subscribers as of this date. As of Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2024, our YouTube channel yet has 1,000 subscribers. And that's the bare minimum to be able to get monetized. We would love to get monetized. Why? Not so we can buy Cadillacs and Lincolns and all kinds of crazy stuff. No. We want to get money so we can help feed more people. And that's a divine purpose. That's a calling. You might even say it's a magnificent obsession. It's the reason you get up in the morning and come out here and do this, you know? So, definitely want to be able to make sure you know why you're doing what you're doing. That goes into your motivation. That can help your planning. So, now I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to go over to gardening a little bit. Look at this ground. I've been working this ground for about 8 months now. When was it? June, July, it was summer of 2023 when we got the ground and the tractor, and I've been working it since. I haven't really planted anything major on it. I put some turnip greens on it, but that was just a cold weather crop going into winter. We're coming out of winter now. Things are starting to come to life. The trees are starting to bud all over the place. My little flower bushes, heck, even my hydrangeas are starting to bud out. I'm probably going to have to get ready to cover them up with plastic soon because I am sure another cold spell's going to hit them. And that's one of the things you have to think about. You have to know your plants. And you're not going to know them overnight. Guess what? I hate to tell you this. Now, don't cry, but you're going to fail. It's going to happen. Plants are going to die. And it's going to be your fault. But don't get discouraged and don't get demotivated. Don't do that. Failure is a wonderful thing because it is the best teacher you will ever get. And I mean that. If you're willing to learn, it is. Because if you fail, then you know what not to do next time. And that's important because if you're growing a garden and you have a passion for this, I don't think you're going to be just doing it 1 year and you're done. No, you're going to be out here year after year trying to better yourself from the last year, trying to get a bigger yield. Man, look, I have gotten so good at growing tomatoes. I'm not the best, but I'm getting there, you know. I listen to the old timers. I really do. I like listening to the old timers. I love that wisdom. People tell me stuff. They're like, hey, you really should try to do this. Try to do that. I take it into advisement. I do. But now here's what's important. Here's what's important. Go back to what I said before. Donations, volunteer effort. Generally speaking, I'm the only person out here doing this. Every once in a while, I get another helper, and I love my helpers. I love them. I love them when they come out to help me. But generally speaking, I'm usually the only one out here working. So I've had people tell me, well, man, you need to go through and you need to cut the soil up. You cut all the grass out before you ever get started. Or else you might as well just waste the whole season. Just scrap the whole season because you're going to have weeds. I'm not saying they're wrong. In fact, that's a pretty good idea. However, I'm not adept at doing that. I am not yet skilled to go through this entire garden over all these humps and scrape all this grass out with a tractor or special tool or whatever. And I've had people tell me, well, you know, you need to get all these boxes and you need to do this. I'm going to show you something. A lot of YouTube, a lot of stuff you see online is pretty. It's gorgeous. I know, because I try to make my videos to look good. But are you ready for this? Here's the ugly side of all this. Look at these boxes. Look at this. That's a mess. It's a mess I got to clean up. I ain't got nobody going to come out here and clean that up for me. All right, I don't. I have a plan, though. I have a plan for what I'm going to be doing with this stuff. Here pretty soon, I'm going to be lining up compost bins. I got to reshape the ground over there a little bit. And then I'm going to be putting compost bins over there. I'm going to be putting most of this out there. A lot of boxes got buried in the garden. All right, and I've heard some people say, well, you need to use them and cover up your plants, around your plants, and cover your rows up so you don't get so many weeds. Hey, I tried that. I tried that down in our Maumelle garden a couple of years ago. You know what happened? The grass busted through it. Because down here in Arkansas, in northeast Arkansas, I don't know what you call that grass, but there's a specific type of grass that grows here that kind of grows like strawberries, but like underground. Strawberries have what's called daughter plants, where you have stems that shoot off the main root, and where they touch, you get a whole new node. And then those have daughters and more offshoots, and it's like a family tree that comes off of one strawberry plant. Well, this grass does the same thing, but it just kind of does it underground. So it is ruthless. I call it ruthless grass because I don't know what else to call it. I'm not a botanist. I don't know the scientific name for this one particular type of invasive species of grass, but I know, that grass is a nuisance to me. It really is. There's just not much I can do to it, because I've heard another person say, well, you need to go through and you need to put poison all over your garden. Let me tell you something. I'm not poisoning my garden. I'm trying to give all these tomatoes and squash and cucumbers and all this to the people in my community. And they spray enough crap on our fields, and they put enough toxins and poisons and everything else we eat, preservatives, so on and so forth. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to be more natural, to give people something healthy to eat, not something that's just going to further poison them, So I'm not putting freaking poison, grass killer. Oh, but it's safe. It's tested. It's proven. All right. You do that to your garden. Go ahead. I'm not doing it to this one. Nope. See, these are kind of the things you got to deal with. You're going to have to deal with the opinions of the folks around you. And what you got to realize when you are in charge of the community outreach program is be willing to take the advice, thank people for their advice, because somebody took their time to give you an opinion. They didn't have to do that, because again, their opinion might be valid. They might be right. You might be wrong. You got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen. I promise, you'll learn so much if you just listen. But take it under advisement. And then figure, okay, how many volunteers am I going to have? How much money do I have to actually do this? See, this year I'm planning on putting black plastic, like 3 mil thick plastic, all over this. And I know I've heard people say, well, you don't need to do that because all you're doing is just putting plastic in the soil. There used to be a general store here. Lake City's original general store. At least that's what I'm told. Used to sit right here where this garden is. In the past 8 months, I have tilled up so much crap out of this dirt. I don't think there's anywhere in this dirt that I couldn't just go through. I'm sure if I dug long enough in a couple square feet, then I'm going to find some type of plastic. Look right there. There's something. There's always something out here. You're never going to get it all. Try. Good luck. You had 50 volunteers come out here with garden rakes. Everybody was raking. You might get it all. But I'm really not worried about that. I really ain't. I'm just worried about feeding people. And that's, again, what you're going to have to consider is, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish in the end? I throw grapefruits out here because I'm trying to grow grapefruit. I really don't even like grapefruit. A lot of people do, though. I actually learned from people coming to our food pantry that grapefruit is counteractive to certain medicines for your heart. So that's a good thing to know. That's a little bit of wisdom that you pick up on as time goes by. So I want to talk about having a plan. That's what you're going to need. Some type of planner. They come in different sizes, different prices, but you're going to need one of these. I advise writing in pencil so you can change your appointments, because you never know what's going to come up. Use this. If someone comes up to you wanting to volunteer for your community outreach program, you need to check this before you say yes or no. They might want to come on Thursday, but you might have an appointment that day. And if you don't have this thing in front of you, you might forget. It happens. So this is the first highway cleanup sign that I always drop. This one has a little nut instead of a wing nut. It's very easy to drop this, and if it falls down there, which it has happened before, it's very difficult to find. So be careful. Just for good measure, I always just go ahead and put it on there, so nothing comes by and makes it fall off. That's sign one. Alright, this is the second sign. This one does have a wing nut on it. Makes it a little bit easier to let down. You have to push in on the side a little bit, because it's pushed against it like a spring when it's tightened up. Got to be real careful right here at this spot, because this church has a lot of traffic coming in and out, and they have two driveways. Now if you do drop the wing nut here on the ground, it's a little bit easier to find than on the other side of the mile. So just like the other side, I put the wing nut right back on. And that's it. So once we let the road crew signs down, we meet up here at the Songbird Square. Now this is exactly halfway between one end of our cleanup mile and the other end of the cleanup mile. Down there, it's in front of the Rock Church across from Sonic. And down that way, it's right near the fire station. So today they got a bunch of construction going on with the utilities and everything. So about a quarter of the entire mile that we clean up is actually off limits for us. It's very muddy, and they got construction people coming in and out of there. So we're not going to worry about that today. And that's one of the things about highway cleanup that we have to be very mindful about. We have to work in tandem with the highway department. We see anything that's going on that they're doing and stuff, we have to keep our distance. We don't want to mess with any of their stuff. We don't want to trip and fall, have any kind of injuries while they're doing what they're doing, even if they're not there today, which today's Sunday. We usually do these on Sunday. So the road crews aren't out there working, but they still have equipment out there. So we're going to keep our distance from that. A couple of years ago, they redid the gas station up here on Hilltop. Had the whole thing cordoned off. We just avoided the whole area because there's no point. You know, you can pick up trash all day. The next day it's just going to be full of trash again, just from all of the construction materials they got. So what do I got on? This vest does not fit me. We don't have a vest that does fit me. They're all small on me. This is a large, but they're high visibility. That's the point. If you look here on the back, we got SDC WATC. Yeah, we did that. You couldn't order them that way. At least I don't think you can. But the road company doesn't give it to us that way. But we got the vest, and we make sure everybody who's out here participating with us has a vest. We usually take about 3 trash bags. So these are the kinds of trash bags that the highway department gives us so we can come out here. We can get as many of these things as we need. So anytime we start running low on them, we just go back and let them know, like, hey, we need more trash bags. They'll give me 2 freaking boxes. Now these are one of the most important things you can do while you're out here cleaning up the highway. Yeah, you can wear gloves, and we do have gloves. We have latex and non-latex gloves. We have hand sanitizer. We have sunscreen. We keep water out here. You don't want anybody who's out here participating, doing highway cleanup for your community outreach, to get injured or dehydrated or touch something awfully nasty, because there is some nasty stuff out here on the highway. Doing this a long time, and I have come across some things I don't want to repeat on camera out here. But if we find anything like drug paraphernalia, firearms, knives, anything that looks dangerous, we leave it where it is. We contact the highway department. We let them know. We let them know exactly where out here we found the thing. Large items, stuff we can't fit in them bags, we definitely always let the highway department know. Sometimes we find things like a car bumper, because right here on Hilltop in Jonesboro is the busiest high traffic area in all of Northeast Arkansas. This mile, just this little mile that we got, there are so many cars that come through here all the time, every day. And here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, I mean, it's about 3 times a day. It's rush hour traffic, morning, noon, and night. And like you can just see it, there's tons of cars all the time. And this ain't even when it's bad. So we're about to get out here, clean this highway up. We got about 15 minutes left before we're supposed to start. We're waiting on other people to show up. We got plenty of spots here for people to park. No problem there. We always advise carpooling if you can do it. It's a good way, save on the environment. That's what we're trying to do, is out here clean up the environment a little bit better, make everything look nicer. And this is what's very important. As soon as we are done, we got to go back and put those road crew signs back up. Make sure we tighten them up. And I got to let the highway folks here in Jonesboro know tomorrow on Monday that we were out here picking up. I got to let them know anything that we found that they need to know about. And I definitely let them know we did put the signs back up. Staying in good rapport with the Arkansas Highway Transportation Department, or whatever highway transportation department's in your area that does highway cleanups, because I'm sure it varies from state to state. Always make sure you're keeping a good relationship with them. Be on good terms at all times. So that's all I got for highway cleanup. And we're about to get out here and get to working. So I'm about to get ready to go pick up the food pantry load from Jonesboro. And we use these to extend out our mirrors, so we have tow mirrors. They're pretty simple to use. You just got to make sure that this lip is on there well on both the top and bottom. These fold and collapse how you need them to be. And then when you got it, what you do is you come in here, because you want one strap just hanging loose. Run that up. All right. Double check everything, because you don't want them flying off in the wind when you're going down the road. All right. And once I get the trailer hooked up, I can adjust these on both sides, and I'll be ready to go. Backing up to the trailer can be just a little complicated when you're by yourself. It's a little bit of trial and error. You have to line it up to the middle of your back glass, back up, get to a point where you feel like you're close, put it in park, get out, and come check it. Then you'll have to adjust. You may have to go right or left, depending on how far off you are. But once you get to this point right here, put the car in park, then you can come over. Now, I've already hooked the tongue down onto the ball, but you want this thing right here to be back. All right. And then when you go to lower the jack, you see the jack's raising up, and the trailer just falls down onto it. And then once you get this all the way up, all right, and you take this, put that down like that. And then you want to get your hooks. Now this one's on the driver's side. You want to crisscross under and go on the passenger side. And the opposite for this one. So on the passenger side, crisscross under. All right. Now, this wire is for your trailer lights. What you do is you flip this little door up right here. Push that in. Now, I gotta remove this block and the board at the back that's chocked the wheels. Put them in the back glass. You want to take them with you, because if something happens, you don't want to be able to not drop your trailer somewhere, like if you have a flat or something, some type of emergency. So always keep everything that goes with the trailer into the vehicle. Now this mirror right here can be adjusted while you're out on the road a little bit, but this one over here, it's very important when you're by yourself doing this, and you're probably going to be by yourself doing this, that you want to adjust it before you pull away. So what I like to do is step way back here by the trailer, and then I try to determine, can I see where the driver's seat's going to be from that mirror? And then just keep walking up, adjust it, walking back until it looks good enough. And you may have to stop on the side of the road and adjust it again when you get down the road just a little ways before you get out on the highway. But it's very important to have these tow mirrors adjusted correctly, because it is very dangerous driving this thing, not being able to see what is coming up to the side and behind you. So be sure to get these set correctly. Sitting in the driver's seat, I gotta ask myself, can I see behind the trailer? And the answer is yes. If I look right over there, I can see right behind the trailer. So if anything is coming up behind me, I'll be able to see it. Now when you get to the food bank, you're gonna have to pull right over there. And then you have to call and let somebody at the office know that you're about to back up. And the way I do it is the front of the truck is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poles, and that puts the back of the trailer just perfect. So put your e-brake on and come around here, unlock the trailer, and and you want to get all your pallets stacked up so the forklift driver can come get all this, and then they'll put the new stuff on there. And you want to make sure that they push it as far forward as you can. Now you always want to be sure to check how much weight you got before you head up here. That way you know how clear the trailer needs to be.
Some melons in there, but I doubt it. It's not quite right. Quite the right season just yet. That should level me out. Pretty good right there. As far as you're concerned.
All right, now we're going to go over the food pantry and all of the little things that you're going to need to know about how we run this food pantry every week. There's lots of little details, and Sarah and Kimmy are going to help me let y'all know about all this because they are the main ones that run this. I do more garden work than they do, and they have all of this figured out down to a science, I promise. So, hello. Say hi.
Hello.
So, the first thing that anything happens when somebody walks in the door, the door is usually closed. They knock. They'll tell them to come in. They come in, and then they have two options at this point. They're going to have either a repeat sign-in sheet or a brand new sign-in sheet. So, if they are a repeat, the only thing they should have to do is sign their name. Whoever is working in the pantry that day needs to be the one to fill out the print name and the number of people in the household, and then just have them sign it. And the reason why we do this is because not everybody has pretty handwriting, and we like it to be printed very legibly so we can read it. So we have to put all this in a computer program. Sarah has a computer with Microsoft Excel on it. She has a whole Excel spreadsheet with everything that we need to know how to keep up with all the number of people. That way we can do reports, send back to the NEA food bank. Now, if they're brand new, the only thing they have to fill out here is the signature and date. One of us will, or whoever's working here that day, will be the one to fill out their name and their address, the county they're in, and a working phone number. That's very important. A working phone number. Because sometimes people will give you a phone number that might not work. And I mean, if that's all they got, that's all they got. I understand, but we try to make sure we can to get them a phone number that works. The reason is because if we ever have any kind of a problem with any of the food that we get from the food bank, and the food bank lets us know, we need to be able to let our customers that come in know that something's going on. So once we get past all that, we also let them know back here on this sign that's behind all of the boxes we got that this is the next pickup day for them, because everybody can come 2 weeks out of a month, every other week. And let me zoom in there so they can see right now. What's the next pickup date? Is that April 4th? Mm-hmm. All right, so April 4th is the next pickup date from today. It's 2 weeks from today. And so just for the camera, y'all, what are all of the things that go in a box? Like, what is your categories of food items and any other kind of items that you try to give people? Go ahead.
In every box, we try to give as many calories as we can, and we like to give at least one thing from all the 4 food groups, some kind of vegetables, some kind of meat, some kind of bread, and some kind of dairy, if we have it. And that's a really big if.
And sweets.
Sweets.
We like to give them sweets. If they've got kids, we'll add some extra sweets in there for them, just so they have something to munch on other than just veggies and stuff.
All right. Usually, well, sometimes our shelves are full. Right now, our shelves are empty. This is empty. We are probably about to close because we have nothing to give.
So we have an account with the NEA Food Bank in Jonesboro. Because our church is a 501c3, we can actually get everything for, what is it, like 14 cents on the dollar or something like that? Hold on a second. We got somebody coming in. Sorry, and we're back. So yeah, we got a food bank account that we can spend like pennies on the dollar for everything. But the problem is they don't always have a whole bunch of stuff available. I mean, all of the food that we usually have here in the pantry is all donated by companies like Walmart and Kroger to the food bank, and from there they distribute that out along with any kind of free produce that they might have. So that's kind of a big deal. Is like a lot of people will ask all the time, week after week, what kind of food are you getting next week? When are you getting this next week? Truth is, we don't know. We don't know. Money is a factor. I mean, if we had thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on food every week, if we couldn't go to the food bank, we could supplement that somewhere else at lowest cost possible and try to just buy it and bring it here. But, we are always working on volunteer effort and donations from good people out of the community. And so do we have anything else about the running of the food bank?
Yes.
What do we got?
We have hours.
Hours.
The food bank our food pantry is open from 10:30 from 10 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon, and then again from 4 until 6 if we don't run out of food. If we do run out of food, when we do run out of food, we need to post online to the food bank page that we have on Facebook that we are closed for the remainder of the day, and we also need to put the sign on the door.
Yes.
That way the people who come by can easily see that we have that. That sign is usually on the computer at the church. Sometimes we have it printed off and saved in the filing cabinet. It really depends on if the sign was acceptably unaltered enough to be able to put up again for the next week. Things like rain and sunshine can fade the sign out, and that's why we have to keep printing it off.
Yeah.
All of the shelves usually can hold somewhere between enough food to feed somewhere between 20 to 40 families a week. If we have more than 40 families a week, that is a phenomenal feat for us, because storage is the main thing. We can only hold so many poundage of food that has to be evenly distributed.
Right.
Almost every family will get just about the same thing in a box, unless they have certain needs that have been called to our attention, such as if they have a small child, we can give them things like diapers if we have them, and wipes. If we have things like this that are sugar-free for diabetics, if we know that there are females in the household who are going through menstruation or could possibly be going through menstruation, we may have feminine products available. If we have certain dietary needs that are brought to our attention, we can try to accommodate as best as possible. But sometimes we're just not able to, because what we have is what we have. But if it's in this room and you come to us, if we have it, you have it.
And it's a very big important thing to understand that we always have, I mean, week after week after week, we have people messaging us and calling us, asking us almost the same things they do every week. Do we still have food? I mean, we could put a post out on our Facebook group, say, hey, we just got a whole big old giant produce donation from the food bank. And I mean, I could tell them
5 minutes later,
Yeah.
we will have 4 questions. Is there any left?
Yeah.
Is there any left? Is there any left?
And we're always telling them, like, I try to tell people every single week, like, you better get here quick, because within an hour or two, this is all going to be gone. And I'll have people all day long asking, do you have anything left? Do you have anything left? And I mean, there's nothing you can do, because it's, you do the best you can to let people know and give people information, and it's up to them to read through all the information. I know communication is a very difficult thing to try to overcome, especially in these kinds of problems, in the community, because not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's on. We got a lot of elderly people who don't even know how to work Facebook, who ain't never been on Facebook, don't even know what's going on there. So they will rely on there being a sign on the door or something. You know, they're going to come by. And sometimes we have a sign on the door that says we're out of food. There will still be people lined up out that door. Yes, there will. And then we have, because we've driven by while they were there, because we were closed that week. And we had to stop and tell them, like, we're closed down. And they were like, well, we seen the sign, and I've had people even call me and say, well, you know, I'm standing right here in front of the food pantry, and I see the sign and says that it's closed. Are y'all really closed? Are y'all really closed? I didn't think it was real, you know. And that's unfortunate, you know, because that feels like a failure on my part, because we do the best we can to communicate with people, you know, to let people know. But, I mean, that's all you can do. All you can do is all you can do, you know. So you got to adapt and overcome the best you can. And like I started in this video, we got the hours right there on the wall. So anything else that we can add to this?
The paperwork that's done, if we fill out one page, at the top of the page on this particular page, we do have the date. If we fill out more than one page, if this page gets completely full, we will write in the top corner page 1, and then on the next one we will write page 2. That way we can keep it straight. Even with having the dates, sometimes we fill more than one page, and we need to know who's coming when.
We keep the
some people
chalk.
actually forget if they came the week before.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because people will come in, especially elderly people who can't remember, you know, what they did last week. They might come in and they might like, I wasn't here for a month or something. And that's up to the people who work in here, volunteered, to keep up with these sign-in sheets, to make sure that they know that somebody is coming every single week. You got to watch out for address discrepancies. That's the thing. Like, people will come in and say, hey, I live at such and such address down the road. 30 minutes later, you might have somebody come in, give you the same address, and you got to it's unfortunate, but you got to call them out on that, you know.
You may have to tell
Be
them
like,
like 7 or 8 times too.
yeah, like you have to let them know, like, unfortunately, and you got to be nice. That's the most important thing. Always be polite. Always be polite in every word you say, because that's very important to communicate that it's unfortunate, we are sorry, but we can't do nothing because that address has already come across this sheet right here.
It is not one box per household. It is one box per physical address.
Yes. Unless they don't have an address. Now, what's the word indigent, right?
Yes.
So some people are indigent. The word indigent means homeless. Now, if they come in and they say, I don't have a house, I'm living in my car or whatever, all you can do is put indigent. There's nothing else you can do, you know. They'll have to fill it out on this sheet right here. They'll put out a name and address, indigent. Now, this is a very important thing. Very important. So, alternative pickups. We got it listed.
We do not
have it listed, but we'll usually just write it down here on the bottom, alternative pickup. So let's say that if Kimmy here was coming to the food bank, to the food pantry to get food, okay? And she's been coming for weeks and weeks and weeks, whatever. And then all of a sudden she can't make it this one week. And she sends somebody to come pick up her food for her, like her husband or a friend. Which what she's going to need to do is fill it out on this paperwork that person is coming to pick up her food when she can't make it. And what that person is going to need is her driver's license or identification. And the reason why is because, unfortunately, we have had people in the past who will come into the food pantry and they will say, I'm picking up for so-and-so. 30 minutes later, an hour later, you might get so-and-so down here and be like, hey, I'm just picking up food. And we're like, somebody just came and picked your food up for you. Well, I didn't get it. Nobody gave me my food. So to curb this problem, we decided if you have their ID, if this person coming to pick up Kimmy's food has Kimmy's ID, Kimmy's going to want her ID back. Mm-hmm. You're going to want your ID back, right? Yeah, there's a lot of trouble to get an ID back from the DMV and stuff. So we figure that's a good way to have some collateral. That way you're picking up somebody's food and you're actually taking it to them.
We'll also accept things like green cards, or if you have your medical marijuana card, Anything that has your name
And a photo.
and a photo.
Yeah. Any government issue ID, a passport will work.
Never had anybody bring in a passport.
But I mean, they could though. You never know.
They could.
You might a veteran ID card,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, as long as it has something on there, it's that's okay. And a lot of people, you know, like they don't understand right off. We always have to tell them there's a lot of other food pantries over in Jonesboro up the road, and some of these food pantries are requiring proof of income or proof of residence, ID, all this da stuff. We don't require that.
But we don't care. If you're hungry, you're hungry.
You're a person. You're hungry.
If you're in front of us and you're in need, you're getting something.
Yeah. But like we're paying attention to those address red flags. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's very important that somebody comes in and they don't give us an address that somebody up the road just gave us, because that's not going to go. Because at that point somebody is taking advantage of this system and they're abusing it, and that's not good for anybody. Because you see this little 12 by 12 room, we have to make this stretch. They have to make this stretch week after week, and we usually don't spend no more than what, $100 at most.
I think the most I've ever seen an order for was $125.
Yeah.
And but the majority of time the order is usually somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $30, and it's usually for somewhere between 600 to 1,000 pounds for that.
So we have to make that entire amount stretch. Now, any of the produce we get, that's free produce from the food bank, will go out on the vegetable stand right outside the door, or out on the cart or the pallets that we have set up. And because those have to go quick, because we can't hold on to that produce. That produce is going to go bad very quick. We don't have the means yet to keep crisp produce the long life.
With a few exceptions.
Yeah. Potatoes. That's the big one.
Potatoes can last a while just being out on the stand. Onions last a while. Things that are root vegetables usually last a while because they're made for long time storage.
Yeah.
Carrots, parsnips, things like that. Cabbage lasts a while too, even though it's not a root vegetable.
So celery.
But oranges and apples and things like that, so you have to understand, a lot of this produce that they're giving us is almost expired from places like Walmart or Sam's Club or Kroger. That's the stuff that they're having to go ahead and donate, because they know it's reached this point that it's not going to sell no more. So
sometimes whenever we get our produce order in, we are given things that are acceptable to be frozen quickly, like broccoli or snap peas or cut up carrots or cut up cauliflower. It really depends on the type of vegetable as to if it's good for quick freezing and then passing it out later on down the road.
Salad mix usually doesn't do too hot if it's in there
Salad
too long.
mixes, lettuces, cabbages usually don't do well. Some things do really well, some things do really bad. Tomatoes, don't freeze tomatoes, they'll come out terrible. Bananas you can't freeze. There's a lot of things that can't be frozen.
You're not even really supposed to refrigerate bananas.
And now
They'll go bad even refrigerating them.
when it comes to potatoes, russet potatoes, red potatoes, white potatoes, whatever you want to call them, usually our procedure for potatoes is this. Potatoes is the number one requested item from everybody. Everybody wants to know when we're getting potatoes. And so what we typically will not do is put potatoes out on the vegetable stand. What we'll do is we'll store them on the trailer until Thursday when the pantry's open, and then we'll bring some in here and we'll distribute them out to people like that. Because if I can tell you right now, you put a 50-pound bag of potatoes out on that vegetable stand, it's gone just like that.
Someone will take the whole 50-pound bag of potatoes.
Yeah. Even if you open it up, bust it up, all that, they will get 10 bags just for one house, and that's not going to really work well. So we try to make sure that we're distributing this out as best as we can. So do we have anything else as far as how the workings of this goes?
Yes, whenever the end of the month comes along, there has to be reports that are filled out. Usually that includes the report that has to be sent to the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas, because we do have to report back to them about the statistics of the households that come in, and that does not include the addresses or the phone numbers of the houses, but it does include the gender and age of the houses, and if they and for that report you also need to keep a record of if you have donations that are privately donated, like if you have donations from the dollar store or from natural grocers or from other places that are not the food bank. If you have poundage that comes in through there, you have to keep a record of what it is and how much poundage it was. That way you can report back to the food bank and tell them, hey, we got this much of X amount of whatever, because they have to know how much poundage is being given out so that they can make their reports back to bigger agencies like Feeding America, and there's a couple of other bigger corporations that are based for feeding people, and they have numbers that they have to keep up.
And where are these reports at? Are these reports on the website?
And these reports are done, the report for the food bank is done for just the food bank. That's numbers that whoever is doing the report has to pull out all of the files from everybody from the master list and add up all of the genders and amount of households to be able to report that back.
All right, we got a customer walking in. Hold on one second. All right, and we're back.
Okay, so all of these pages have all of our info, and it has on here the number of people in the household, the age of said people, the number of people, the age of people, and their sex, male or female. And the reason why is that a way we can make those reports to the food bank. After we have the numbers for the food bank, then we can make our report to the board of directors, which is a different report. Although it uses a lot of the same numbers, it's different.
For the board of directors report, it's actually my report that I got to turn in. What we need is the number of individual addresses that walk through this door, the total number of people per address that's totaled up. That's the overall estimated number of people we're feeding that month. And then we need the number of pounds of food that we got in. That's including donations and what we buy. And then the cost of everything that we buy.
So once those reports are filed, then you give those reports to Glenn, and he presents it to the board of directors. And then those papers go back in the filing cabinet, listed A to Z. The very first front of the filing cabinet is usually used for the paperwork from the last month, so that when people come in and they're like, oh, I don't remember if I came in last week, that way you'll be able to pull those records up from that.
And also, Kimmy, she has her own contingency for all of the office stuff. So whoever is actually working in here, if they have to go that deep into all of it, they can follow Kimmy's contingency report on how to do all of the filing stuff. That is correct, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to redo it, but it'll be redone before the end of the week. So.
Okay, so that will meaning it's good. It's good.
Whenever you come into the pantry, you do want to check the temperature, and if the temperature is too low, you want to go across the street and get a heater. Too low is under 40 degrees. If it is under 40 degrees, then we need a heater in here, because food safety is a very real concern. If it gets too cold, then it could damage the food, even inside cans.
How hot is too hot?
Usually over 85 starts to get into a danger zone of food, because over 85 you're looking at soda cans start popping open. The food that's in here that is bread and dairy things, they even being refrigerated could start molding faster. and it is a concern. We also have to keep a record of our temperatures and keep it, because every once in a while we do get inspected by the food bank. A person will come out and they will inspect, and they want to make sure that we have all of those temperatures on file.
So where are the temperatures
They're
located?
it's in the cabinet as
And
well.
this one right here?
Yeah, it's in the cabinet. And those temperatures include room temperature, a temperature for every fridge, and a temperature for every freezer. And the freezer, there is 2 fridges over here. We do not keep a record of when the fridges are not in use, because when they're not in use, we're not using them.
They're unplugged.
And they're unplugged so that we
Gotcha.
can save that energy.
Good.
The freezer will always be plugged in.
Okay.
Even if there's nothing in it, the freezer will always be plugged in. That way it doesn't start unthawing and we have water mess in here.
All right.
Usually we try to keep this fairly clean in here. We will take out at the end of the day, we will take out all the trash and take it over to the trash can across the street. We'll
Right over
sweep the
there.
floor and make sure that everything is good. We will, if it's not wet or rainy, we will shake out the rug. Whenever we leave, we make sure that the door is locked and the light is off. There's only one light.
Yeah.
There's only one light switch, but it controls both the inside light and the outside light.
This is kind of a signal for people. A lot of people, they see the light on and they think that we're open.
So if the door is closed and it's just cold outside, but we're in here, we'll have the light on but the door closed. Or if it's super hot outside, we will have the door closed because we'll have the AC on.
If it's
Okay.
nice, we'll just leave the door open.
On days when it's nice, like right now, it's about 62, 63 degrees outside. We just have the door open. It gets nice ventilation in here. It's not too bad.
Now the mosquitoes haven't been too bad yet, you know.
No,
That's true too.
But when the mosquitoes start coming out, they kind of dictate whether or not this door is going to be open.
Yeah, that is true too.
usually that also means that the AC will be on, so we'll keep it closed anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
true. So we both heat up fast. So
There are 2 chairs in here for the people who are in here giving food out. One will be right here at this desk, and the other one will be anywhere in this general vicinity.
And honestly, more than 2 people in here is too much. It really is.
every once in a while we'll have like one of the kiddos wanting to come help, do some volunteer work. We've got a little chair for the little ones too. So
And now this is something that we noticed right off the bat when we started this thing, and we still to this day have a problem, and you're going to have to pay attention to this, whoever's working in here. If I'm the customer, if I'm standing here, I'm right here in the doorway, you can see this is 12 by 12 and there is nowhere to go in here. So if I'm the customer and these 2 are over here at this table and they're getting everything ready, and if I just happen to walk over, hey, what y'all got today? What's going on? What do? Hey, be like, hey, you're gonna have to,
you scoot back.
yeah. And sometimes people are gonna argue why. Well, how come I can't come over here and look at stuff? You know, it's a safety issue. It's as simple as that. It's a safety issue.
The easiest and most polite way that we found to answer people is, you're in our bubble.
Yeah, you're in the bubble. If you can stick your hand out like that right there, and you're touching them, if I could touch that filing cabinet, I'm in that filing cabinet's bubble, and that's not no good. And we have some people who like to come up in here with no shoes on and no shirt on.
And we've had to politely tell them that basically, no shoes, no shirt, no service.
And they go, but why? Because this is a food pantry and we have to follow health code stuff with the food bank. All of this is regulated with the food bank. So we couldn't imagine, we got a lot of people out here and we got somebody walking up in here, some guy, no shirt, hairy chest, all up in here, and we have a food inspection come in. That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. Another issue that we have very often is we have customers who will bring their canine companions with them, and we have to politely tell them that their dog friends cannot come inside the food pantry.
Unless it is a service dog. If it's a service dog and it's got a clear thing on the vest, the dogs with those service vests. They usually have them on. They'll have some type of tag letting people know this is a service dog. Don't pet the dog.
And I would never deny a service dog, but a regular dog, I do have to ask to stay outside.
Yeah, and people will bring them. They do bring them.
And you have to keep an eye on the door because there are rogue cats, and the cats, once they see the door open, they will try to come inside.
Yeah, this house that's right here next to us down the road, it's like a feral cat city down there. There's a whole bunch of cats that are always down there, and they just roam around this neighborhood all the time.
Or if it's one of my cats that happen to get outside, they'll be like, "Oh, mom's here."
Yeah.
All along the walls in different areas, we have different resources that are available. We try to keep it as updated as we can. We do try to offer as many other services as we can, but sometimes we only got what we got.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you're watching this video and you happen to have resources for Northeast Arkansas that you would like to put up in here that we don't have in here, you're welcome to let me know. You contact me, and I will definitely go ahead and try to get those paperworks put out, because we like to be able to have some resources. Not everybody reads this stuff. They usually come in here, they're just like, I want to get my food and go. But for those who need it, they see it, and we try to help them.
On top of that, if we recognize there's something that they may possibly need and make a benefit, we'll point to the long look and like, "Hey, you should probably read this. It'll help you."
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and give you the spiel like I would if you were a completely new customer.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's start this right.
Okay.
Hi, I'm brand new.
Okay, hello, brand new. Instead of them filling out, you're going to fill it out for them. You're going to pick up this pen.
Okay.
And I'll turn it towards you.
Okay.
Have you ever been here before?
No, never been here before.
So, what's your name?
Brand new.
Brand new. And where's your address, brand new?
123 Main Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
And that's in Craighead County. And what's phone number?
870-555-1234.
Okay. And how many in your household?
27.
That's a big fat lie.
You caught me. I got 4.
Okay, 4. What are their age and sex?
Me, I'm 84 years old.
Okay.
And my
do you
wife.
identify as male?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My wife, she's 31.
Okay.
And we have 2 little girls.
Okay, how old are they?
They're twins. They're both 5.
Okay, fantastic. All right, I got this all filled out for you. Go ahead and sign this for me at the bottom.
Y'all caught the red flags, right? Okay. So it's
have them
brand
signed.
new, and today is, what is today's date?
3/14.
3/14/2024. Yeah, I'm in the food pantry system now.
Hello, you are able to come to the food bank every other Thursday. So that means that you'll be here today, you will skip the next Thursday, and you will be able to come the Thursday after that. And if it so happens that there are 3 of those Thursdays that are available in a month, you can come all 3. All right, so we are open every Thursday. So if you miss your week, you can always come the next. We're open every Thursday from 10 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon, and then 4 to 6 unless we run out of food. If we do run out of food, we will post it on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And we will also have a sign on the door. The reason why I ask you for the information that I ask you for is so that we can report back to the agencies that we get our food from, aka the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas, because they don't ask us for specifics, they ask us for statistics, and we need to get those numbers back to them so that they can have their paperwork. We are not partnered with any other food pantries in Northeast Arkansas. So if you went to a food pantry in Jonesboro, it has nothing to do with us. We are completely separate.
Or Caraway.
Or Caraway, or Brooklyn, or Paragould, any of that. Doesn't matter. You're in front of me, you need food, you get food. Once a week, we have our food pickup, and sometimes when we have our food pickup, we are given free produce, and usually it is posted on our Facebook page. when we get that free produce. And we will usually announce on there if we do. Usually that's going to be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, depending on the week. Just keep an eye on the Facebook page, and remember that it's first come, first serve, and it will be gone quickly. So if you see it, come out. If it just so happens to be a Tuesday and you feel like checking it out, just drop by and check. Worst case scenario is we don't have anything.
And if you happen to comment on our post about the free vegetables, we might not be able to get back to you because we're over here running a church and we have a lot of work to do. So sometimes we can't be out here just to see that if we have anything left. That's why we always make it very clear right in the beginning. It's first come, first serve, get here quick, because this stuff goes quick.
All right. Back behind me on the chalkboard, it says your next available pickup date. That's usually kept pretty up to date, and it is always going to be post dated for 2 weeks from today. We accept donations in most forms except for clothing, because we do not have the available space or man hours to be able to process this. We're sorry about that, but that's just what we're up to. If you have produce that you would like to donate throughout the year, you can donate it anonymously and place it upon the vegetable stand or the vegetable cart, whichever is convenient for you. Those are available 24 hours a day. If you want to donate canned goods, you can either leave them on the porch behind you on the ramp, or you can message us and we can meet you somewhere and pick it up, or we can meet you here and you can deliver it to us, whichever is convenient for you. If there are ever things that you have a need for, just let us know and we will try to accommodate you as best we can. Do you have any questions? And usually that's where we stop, and if they do have any questions, they will answer. We'll try to answer as best as we can. Sometimes people ask us about the church, and we try to answer that fairly quickly. Usually someone's first visit is their longest visit, because we have to say all of that stuff.
Now, this is very, very important about the church stuff. Some of our customers that come in have told us a few times that some of the other pantries they've been to over in Jonesboro or wherever else, they like to give out pamphlets for their church inside the box. We don't do that. We're not here to try to draw people into our congregation. We are here to feed people, and that's it. Period. If they want to ask, let them ask. We'll do what we can to answer it, but we don't push that agenda. No agenda. Our agenda is helping feed people. That's it.
Yes. So, you will never be required to attend service in order to get help.
Never. So, anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right. So this is the website for the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas. The first thing you would do is hit shop. Unfortunately, we can't show you how to place the entire order because we have a pending order. You have to be able to pick up your order that you have scheduled from the food bank in Jonesboro. We then wait until the following morning to order the next pickup. What you would do is go to shop, and then there would be a calendar to select your date and time that you want to pick up your order. Once you select that, you can choose from the menu of the items that they have available, and then go to checkout and then process your order. All right, so I didn't have to water these too much today. The humidity is up in the greenhouse today, so everything pretty much is still just a little bit damp from yesterday's watering, which is really good. You can see the moisture all inside the cups, because these cups do not have drain holes. So there's moisture inside of there. So that tomato's getting plenty of water. I think I'm not going to water them too hard because I don't want them to wilt and over watering. But they're still looking really good. It's a learning curve with this greenhouse. My first year working the greenhouse. So yeah, we're just going to keep looking at them. The little herb trays, they dried out really well. They just do. They dry out. You can see the bottom of them, how dry that looks. It soaks up all the water and the air gets to them, I think, and just dries these out real good. These actually were still kind of damp whenever I come in. These were just a little bit damp when I come in. So I gave them a really good watering yesterday, because they were almost dry yesterday when I looked at them. But all of these were still good and wet from yesterday. So I just gave everything just a light misting, and I think that's all I need. Just going to keep an eye on it.